morning, afternoon, and evening, guys. We're back and delighted that me and Adam are joined today by Mr. Sudhir Kulkarni, who obviously we've known for a long time. And when we started speaking about the podcast and subjects and subject matter and what we wanted to go through, I was delighted that Sudhir was the person that chose RPA. Still being the topic that a number of people are wanting to hear about, still very new within its inception. Projects are starting off with it, but still a lot of questions to be asked and answered, I think, around the community. As way of introduction, Sudhir, please feel free to introduce yourself. Adam, I'll let you guys talk about how you met and how we all know each other. But yeah, Sudhir.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks for having me. So my name is Sudhir Kulkarni. I've been in the MuleSoft ecospace for now 8-9 years. Whole of my 17 years experience is integration itself. So I started as a Java developer, natural progression into integration through C Beyond, Oracle, Software AG, MuleSoft. So for me, the transition was natural. So I grew through my roles. I've done variety of roles as an architect, as a CTO, advisory, practice lead roles. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
You in a nutshell. I think it's great having Sudhir here because I think looking back to my own MuleSoft journey, Sudhir's probably one of the few people that Jonathan and I could interview who I've actually known for longer than I've known Jonathan. I think Sudhir, you and I go back. I think it's at least 7 years at this stage, and
yes,
it was through the community. It was the power of the community that really brought us together, and I think that's a testament to it because at that stage, we were at rival GSIs, then we moved to rival SIs, and we still very much connected. I think those meetups in London were some of the. It was a great opportunity to find someone like-minded who you could bounce the ideas off, and it's just been. I think this really speaks to the power of the community. The fact that 7 years later we can still jump on a call together, or we can hang out at Dreamforce, and hopefully we'll see you there again in September.
Yeah, I think the one good thing about the community was we went way beyond what org we work for, is it a competitor or not, and it was not like formal. It was quite informal. Like if there is a problem, hey Adam, can we look into this? Like it's jump onto there, and then like be it anything related to coding, design, product. It's an open forum, so people can come in, openly discuss issues, and get some solutions or guidance. It was really good.
Yeah, I think that's exactly like a few weeks ago. That's exactly what we spoke to with Sabrina about. Right, was people being in that room together, at the meetups, at events, at Dreamforce, from wherever they were from, wherever they were working, like you say, whether they're rival, competitors, but they were there to talk about it, and you had that experience all in one room of, you'd worked on project A, Adam had worked on project B, there was an overlap, there were developers there that had never come across this, that were struggling, they had access to this insight, you guys were sharing knowledge, these people were learning from it, and that's exactly what we're able to do, within the community, within that, to share that and spread that and really, sort of add that value into people's sort of everyday lives working with MuleSoft, and hopefully we can do more, today with your knowledge on RPA.
Yeah.
I know it's new, I know it's base level, but I mean, look, high level. What is MuleSoft RPA, Sudhir? What is MuleSoft's role in robotic process automation?
So within Mule, if you see where RPA sits, is where you can't build traditional integration, where there are repetitive and mundane tasks, and where you want less coding and more kind of configuration kind of capabilities you want to build. When we talk about API-led connectivity, any point, that's for the high complex integrations where you need data translation, data transformation, reusability aspects. Those kind of things is typically done in an API led architecture. So RPA comes into place where I have something where I have activity is repeatedly performed by probably finance team or HR team, invoices, some data related to like receipts, which come in different sorts of forms. It might be an image or different text, or it may typical processes where people heavily use Excels and Google Sheets. So those kind of activities, there is a need to automate them to save time. So one use case I always take is, I'm very passionate about NHS and health, because of my association with health. Is I talk proudly from a health perspective. So typical challenges you see within healthcare within the UK, you guys might have also seen, is how front desk people are overwhelmed by so many things. They have to look into patient onboarding, prescriptions, referrals. There's so many manual activities which goes on. So if I have to take away that repetitive time out so that they can be with the patient, they can serve well the patient. So how can I do that? Some of those activities, how can I automate? So that's where I personally feel the RPA can come into play and take away that pain and repetitive task away, so that the precious time is given back to the front desk so that they can spend time better with the patient. So this is that I always use this as an use case to showcase the value, rather than saying that, oh, here is a PDF or here's an image, or you will have you read it, he'll have you build a bot. So that's a technical way of defining things, but I always want to put a functional or a business outcome hat, so that you can communicate better to different audiences when you're talking to business people or technical people.
Absolutely.
When
I guess
people are, I was just going to say, when people are hearing this and they're thinking about you automating human processes and using bots, it sounds very complicated, but MuleSoft have made it very easy. What's
Absolutely.
your experience on the ease of use of the platform?
So again, the tool is drag and drop, and if somebody worked with Studio or somebody worked with the new code builder, it's all drag and drop. So it's all boxed solutions. So typically, if you want to read specific images or specific PDFs, there are out of the box connectors in there. Like any programming language, you want some looping over data, translating that data, and then if there is a complex data needed, pass it back. So one good thing about RPA is now well embedded within the product suite. So you can call RPA flows through your developer, RPA flows through Composer, and RPA flows using Salesforce Flow as well. So it's not a siloed product anymore, because the business benefit can be delivered with a combination of product, selecting for the right use case, I would say.
That's awesome.
one of the so I was at the start of the week. So Monday, I was lucky enough to go to the AI day over in New York. I don't know if you saw. I also was lucky enough to actually meet Mark Benioff finally. And we had a little picture together, which was very nice. But one of the big things there, because obviously they're talking about all the Salesforce AI, all the releases of that, and everything from that side. The use case for doing it, their customer stories, how it's being used, is all led by trust within that. The securities around using things like AI, and obviously where you're using sort of RPA and things like that. You're also filling data that's there, like I say, within the NHS, within health records, or what, finance, whatever. There must be a lot of work behind in that, in the trust side of that, right? The securities that are used for pulling that data through.
So this security isn't new from the bot perspective, right? So you can have multi-layered security as well. So typically, what's behind your firewall, where the bots are deployed, which application it's accessing, if it is accessing something over the net. So what protocols we need to put in place. So typically, I have seen the implementation is something behind the firewall. Internal application, it's very easy. You can build web-based integration, so form fillings, anything around that sort, it can be done. So you can spin up the application, you can fill in the form, you can submit it. If it is anything outside, I would say then use a combination of Mule APIs, which provides you a greater way of security, because you can build the VPCs, gateways, transit gateways. There are many ways you can build data security at rest and in transit as well. So what can do the underneath? I would say if you put the multi-layer architecture, I would put the RPA is at the underneath layer, and then you can securely expose those capabilities using Composer, or using any point-led API integration to the outside world.
Okay. So can and with that as well, obviously, because we're talking, obviously RPA is very new. We're talking about the newer integrations. What about, you're coming into enterprise level, but they've still got huge legacy systems,
Mhm.
and they're wanting to. They've got MuleSoft, they've got the legacy systems. They're wanting to bring in RPA. You can integrate seamlessly with those legacy systems as well?
You could, but we need to be wary of few things when it comes to legacy, right? So data volumes, how big, how often. So there are different patterns we could implement. If it is data of a huge size, then there are ETL patterns for that. If data is not in a traditional format, so when we talk about traditional formats, JMS, database, traditional files, if the data is not within that specific format, then RPA is really helpful. If the data is in form of images, files, those kind of things, definitely RPA would be best to use. But again, it's data, and data migration, data economy is totally different when it comes to RPA. RPA is for business task automation, whereas if we are looking for legacy migration, that comes under data integration and data migration. So it's two different things. Again, we have to evaluate based on the specific need.
Okay, okay. And like, where you see, so I guess you talk obviously NHS. I know when we've had a couple of meetups in the past, I know sort of Justin from the University of the Arts was talking about he could see it going into their finance
Mhm.
team, for invoicing and things.
Yeah.
You think so? RPA via MuleSoft at the minute, RPA has places within specific business areas.
No, I think it's not industry specific. It's technology agnostic, I would say. So anywhere where there are repetitive tasks. So one specific use case is like applications in NFS space. It can be like credit card applications, your anything related to your mortgages or your bank accounts or account statements. So anything within that, you can have a combination of RPA, which is like doing the lower level of translating that document, reading that document, and use Salesforce Flow from a business perspective. So any business process you want, so automatic approvals, or you need manual approvals, or multi-layered approvals with a hierarchy of people approving. So you can build those complex kind of approval processes using the Salesforce Flow. And but the document reading, underneathing, all of that can be developed using MuleSoft RPA. So it's not restricted to a specific business industry. It's more towards business use case, I would say.
Okay. And
And
with that, I'm guessing, as you say, with that, depending on who you are, how you're using it, where you're using it, like your best practices across implementation are gonna again be unique to you, or to how you're planning to use that.
So best practices and standards are same across. If you are implementing an API or an RPA or a composer, best practices are same and similar to these implementations. Only thing is like we need to be cautious of who is triggering the bot, what tasks they are. It should not be in an infinite loop, so it wouldn't serve the purpose. And if there is a complex implementation needed, no point in building all that complex logic in RPA. So there are better ways of doing that using APIs, where you can use contract driven approach, reusability at aspects, and composable architecture. So that fits that use case really well. If it is business process automation, then Composer plays a quite a key role in there. So you can build using the no code, low code kind of platform, build that processes, and data ingestion from these heterogeneous kind of data sources, then use RPA in there. So it's
Yeah.
combination of three, I would say.
Okay.
does it, if we're thinking about traditional MuleSoft APIs, for example,
Mhm.
on the platform, it's very, very, very easy to scale these workers, horizontally, vertically.
Yeah.
Is it as easy to scale the bots
Mhm.
in RPA? Yeah.
You can, and I think it's tied to your licensing as well. So good thing is, I think again, disclaimer there. So it's you are paying for when the bot is running. So it's not like when it is idle you're paying for. We need to recheck that. I think that, but my understanding is if the bot is performing an activity, that's when you're being charged. So I would also put the RPA bots under a system layer, because that's when they are mostly interacting with the systems, be it the ingestion of data or be it form filling and all of that. So
Yeah.
A lot of the small and medium businesses will be delighted if it is pay
yeah.
per use rather than
Mhm.
than pay while you're not using.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I think, Sudhir, I think we spoke briefly about that, I think maybe World Tour last year, right? And how that's coming in. I remember it seems like obviously so recently ago, but I think we had I think back end of 2021, we had a meetup in London, and some of the guys from
Mhm.
MuleSoft came down and gave us sort of their roadmap. And one of the new things was that was when they were just bringing in RPA, right? So we're 18 months down the line since then, since it's come in. I don't know if you've come across it. I know, like you say, you have a different sort of background, and obviously with previous roles, different projects. Talk about MuleSoft using sort of RPA there. How does that, I guess, compare to other integrations platforms and their linking in with RPA?
So that's a very good question. So RPA and Composer is currently a standalone offering, but it's heavily embedded within the Anypoint platform. So if you want to specifically call an RPA bot, so you could typically do using the REST endpoints. It's exposed as a reusable service in Exchange. So if you want to call a specific bot action or a bot flow, then you could do it through REST API endpoint. So suppose if you are using another integration platform where I personally feel that, like, yeah, it can coexist with other platform as well. If there is a business need or a business benefit, it can coexist as well. But my personal view is that having all of that within one product suite can give you better benefits rather than having different platforms or for different usages.
For sure, and with the kind of the unification of the platform now, with RPA being so embedded into the wider ecosystem, can we now use the likes of monitoring and analytics on the platform to see the bot usage, or is that still something in the pipeline that?
I think I need to recheck on the product front, on the feature front, but currently it's available within the RPA manager.
Okay, okay, okay.
So anything related to performance troubleshooting is it's within the RPA manager. The access control is fully embedded now. So
Okay.
the recent release is that they want to have an universal IDP for Composer, RPA, and as well as the endpoint platform. So that's, I think it's there, and all of the RPA flows are available as connectors and reusable assets within Exchange as well, so that can be reused, and then can be simulated and everything through Exchange.
That's really cool.
Nice, nice. And you were saying there, obviously, how it can be built, and you were using, like you say, as standalone platforms. And again, it is very new, and this is where people find out about it. And when it's first put into projects and practice, it's being built. What are the main challenges you've seen so far, or what are the main issue, or how have you overcome them? How can they be overcome? Are there any?
It's new. So the challenge is first thing is to understand the components. So when Studio came in, before Studio, it was all Spring-based framework, right? So when Studio came in, getting familiarized with the layout, with the components, with the connectors, how to use them. So that is very key. I think it would take some time for people to get familiarized, especially when you are coming from a developer background, right? So this is a no-code kind of platform, so that one transition of the mindset needs to happen. So if you are coming from a typical RPA background using a different tool, it might not be that much difficult for you. But if you are coming from typical Java, MuleSoft developer experience, so it's little different, I would say. And also, so there are two different types of RPA integration we can build. One is web-based, which is pure play of how I build web-based automation. So form filling, screen scraping, and anything around that. And the other one is typically the data ingestion part, using different types of connectors to process the data, be it Excels, be it images, or optic character recognitions. Those kind of things, capabilities are also there.
I think RPA is a very interesting one because anyone who's been in the tech ecosystem for any amount of time,
Mhm.
RPA 8 years ago, 5 years ago, it was the new big thing and it was a big buzzword and everyone was so excited and it was saying this is going to revolutionize the world. I think with Salesforce, there's that real potential now because Salesforce has such a wide-ranging customer base, and the
Absolutely,
fact
yeah.
that this is so embedded in the platform, I think
Yeah.
we might now finally see this revolution that we've all been expected. Is that your experience so far? Are customers that you've
Yeah.
spoken to, are they excited about this?
Absolutely, because now, so you have to sort, if the capability is not there in the platform or the product sort, you have to sort for something which is external. And then, if that's the case, then cost, maintenance, and all of that thing, you need to be cautious of. But if it is well within embedded within the platform as an implicit capability, then hey, yeah, that plays quite well. It's well embedded. It's the reusability aspect or monitoring aspect, as you said, everything is offered as a service. So that makes the from an enterprise perspective, it makes easy when we are building the technical capabilities. It's all within one suite and it's all managed and monitored centrally. So yeah,
For
it
sure.
definitely there's a lot of benefits from utilizing these capabilities.
I think that's kind of what we've seen with the acquisition of
Mhm.
MuleSoft as well. That's if you spoke to Salesforce customers, 5, 6 years ago, they all wanted to do
Mhm.
integration, but they didn't know where to start with integration because you needed to go and you needed to find a
Yeah,
platform, you needed to set up a team. And now, especially with the likes of Composer, the Salesforce admins can come in, they can drag and
absolutely.
drop a few flows, and it's there. And I think having this with RPA as well, it's really exciting to see what
Yeah,
the Salesforce
I think
ecosystem are going to do with this.
bringing the business and tech together, I think that was the key theme and then the key success factor, and helping the citizen developers to like not to learn something totally new, because it gets you familiarity between all the components, so you can easily switch between these tools and learn quickly and deliver the value. I think that's a brilliant idea Salesforce came up
Yeah.
with.
I think it's interesting, and again, we're talking. RPA was the new thing, a few years back, and obviously, we go from Salesforce to bringing in MuleSoft to bringing in RPA, and like I said, going back to sort of the start of this week, and Salesforce's new investment in the AI side of things, and as part of that launch event, the Harvard Business Review data that every or 9 out of 10 CEOs at the moment is how do we leverage AI, right? How do we do that? And I get how can MuleSoft, alongside Salesforce, what Salesforce are doing, how can MuleSoft be used to leverage sort of AI within RPA? How does that combine?
So again, I will take you back to the my healthcare where my healthcare had. So AI plays a quite an evident role within healthcare, right? So be it imaging, or anything related to the pandemic. How if the next pandemic is coming, there are models around prediction, and any outcome of that can be fed through RPA. So it can be like a tailored plan. It might be a care plan, or it might be a new diagnostic, or it can be a course of treatment change with a new medication, or within the pharma space like the drug trials and things. So the AI can do that prediction and that analysis and all of that part, but the outcome of it can be automated, be it notifying the patients, or be it anything related to where you need a lot of human interaction with different entities within health, primary care, your secondary care, emergency care, social care. There are a lot of things which goes on from a manual activity perspective, so those can be automated using MuleSoft.
Nice, nice. Okay, okay. And I guess what is that? Like, as far I know, again, RPA very very new. Some companies are only just sort of really starting to really get under the hood with it and adopt it. But is that the future of it? Do you think that's how it looks? With that combination of the Salesforce's push of AI, bringing that together into RPA, is that the next step? Is that kind of, I guess, where we'll see real adoption of all these newer technologies coming together, like I say with Composer as well? That's all these things can come in together and kind of be a new offering on the MuleSoft side of things.
I think so. I think so. Definitely. I think that would be the approach any tech firm wants to take towards within an era of AI, combining the RPA and no code low code platform. I think that would be the new offering I would definitely want to see.
Yeah. Good. Nice. Adam, I don't know if you. I mean, look, I mean, to be honest, I think Sudhir, I think I've learned more about RPA in the last 25 minutes, and I'm sure loads of people have not. And it's interesting, like I say earlier, our meetup on the 12th of July in New York. The person who's speaking, a lady called Catherine Wills from Big Compass, is talking about maximizing performance with Composer and RPA. Which would be really exciting. I know still sort of very much, like I say, RPA, the topic that everyone wants to learn and hear about. And I think your insight here has massively done that. Here, I know that, I mean, even going back when I was in London, obviously me and Chris were running the meetup, we were desperately trying at points last year of trying to find people to talk about RPA at a meetup. It was too new. We couldn't. The only thing we could get kind of, the pitch from MuleSoft about what RPA was, but no tangibles about how it was used, where it was used, what it could do, that kind of stuff with real world experiences. So I think people hearing about that now is what, for more than sort of 12, 18 months, people have been looking for that success story, that customer story, etc., of who's used it, why it's used, where it's used, what works, what doesn't work, how it can be changed. So I think you give us some real fantastic insight on that for us. So I really appreciate you for
Pleasure.
joining us to do that.
Pleasure.
Adam?
As always, Sudhir is providing a gold mine of knowledge, as he does at every meetup, and he does it on a podcast as well for us. So it is greatly appreciated. The final thing that I just wanted to end with was, have you any recommendations for the community? Have you watched a movie lately that you recommend? Have you watched a TV show, read a book, anything at all, so that we know a bit more about you as a person? What's your recommendation for us?
For me, enjoy the British weather, nice cricket. So Ashes coming in, that's a big thing. So I was on the World Test final. So that's India versus Australia. It's an amazing atmosphere, cricket in Oval. But Mecca of cricket is Lords. So I'm looking forward to see a match in Lords.
Are you
So yeah,
going?
yeah, I have the tickets are not yet available, so I will be going for the Lords one, and I play for Surrey League County Cricket as well. So every Friday, every Saturday, so that's quite nice when sun is out.
Kudos.
Yeah.
It's impressive that you managed to keep active with the cricket as well around all of the other tech things that you're doing. Admittedly, I got into T20 cricket a few years ago. I haven't been able to sit through a whole test match yet, but maybe if I end up at Lords with you, I'll be
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to.
that would be really great. That atmosphere, the weather, and that like fierce competition would be amazing. Amazing. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Test cricket, so absolutely.
It's 5 days
Fantastic.
is a big investment for any sport.
Yeah, I mean, like I usually go like third or fourth day. That's where the match turning points are. Like this, there might be an outcome you would expect. So yeah,
Yeah.
you need to choose the right day based on where the match stands. So
Smart man. Smart man. I hope to join you one day. I really do.
yeah,
Yeah. So any questions on RPA or cricket, please, reach out to
please do,
Sudhir.
please
Yeah.
do. So I'll be talking a little more on. It's just a teaser, but I'll be
Mhm.
talking a little more with an use case in World Tour London as well on RPA.
Amazing.
If you are interested,
Amazing.
please subscribe to the Salesforce Plus, or if you are visiting in person, please do come and say hello.
Perfect. Again, yeah, can't really recommend that highly enough. To be honest, I think that talk, yeah, will be worth it. Yeah, very much. If people can do that, definitely spend the time to go and meet or yeah to see Sudhir sort of virtually for that talk, and hopefully we will see if we will make it. We will see you at Dreamforce or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I look
the
forward
same,
to
the
it.
same as last year. We'll have the little MuleSoft conglomerate upstairs together from all, and that's the amazing thing, right? Like even now, so obviously, I'm in New York, so dear, you're in London, Adam's over in China. People from the ecosystem, the community all
Yeah,
over the world that are something like Dreamforce will come together. We'll share that experience. We'll share that knowledge. We'll
absolutely.
talk about projects. So yeah, always excited to see everyone when we can.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
Perfect. Sudhir, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us. And
Pleasure.
yeah,
It's,
look
it's
forward to
amazing.
speaking.
It's lovely to see you both again. So I really enjoy the company and our talk. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Perfect. Thanks, Sudhir.
Thank you.
Take care.